Hi, this is Gus from Gain Sustain. Today, we're gonna have a look at how sustainable is Adidas. Let's go. But before we get going, whenever you're reviewing a company out of a sustainability perspective, you're always gonna need some sort of a framework. And the one I'm gonna use is called a triple bottom line. To determine a company's sustainability potential, it needs not only to produce a financial surplus, it also needs to produce a surplus for both the environment and society as a whole. These three concepts are easily represented by three P's. One P is for profit. Without turning a profit, you're not going to stay around as a company. Simple as that. One P is for people. Without a responsible supply chain, a good business culture, and a strong governance of working conditions, you'll exhaust your human capital. And finally, 1P is for planet. Without ecological sustainability, we will deplete the planetary resources. The intersection of these three P's is where sustainability lies, when a company is producing surplus on all of the three bottom lines. So let's have a look at our first P, profit. And I think a good place to start is to have a quick look on the competitive landscape. Here's the top 10 sportswear companies in the world, ranked by revenue. Nike is unrivaled as number one, turning over almost $40 billion. Nike alone is 50% bigger than Adidas, that clocks in second at just over $25 billion in revenues. However, it's worth noting that Reebok is fully owned by Adidas, and that adds another $2 billion in revenues. Still, Nike is so big that if you were to add all the companies following them on the list, the combined total would still be smaller than Nike alone. The same goes for Adidas. All companies following Adidas on the list combined is still smaller than Adidas on its own. Nike and Adidas are firmly placed as number one and number two. Adidas is also very profitable. Going back to 2006, the company has never turned a loss, not even during the Great Recession, though profits did slump. But they recovered fast and things really started taking off in 2016. Profits doubled in the 3 years from 2016 until 2019. There's no long-term threat to the financial survival of Adidas. They're actually doing fairly well even in the middle of COVID. Good job. Let's move on. Let's have a look at our second P, people. With Adidas, I think we're going to start with the supply chain, because the supply chain here is important. When you've got a company that is global in manufacturing scope like Adidas is, there's going to be a complex supply chain spanning so many different countries, and whenever complexity is added, the risk for errors goes up. So that's what we're going to have a look out for. Adidas has done a great job of disclosing a list of 450 directly contracted suppliers and an additional 100 subcontractors on their website. These suppliers and subcontractors can be found in 55 different countries, where the three most common are Indonesia, Vietnam, and China. But you'll also find plenty of European and American countries like Italy, Japan, Brazil, and even the US on the list. About 1 out of every 10 of the Adidas suppliers are in countries that have a higher degree of working poor than the world average. Working poor is defined by the World Bank as somebody working for less than the equivalent of $1.90 daily. In the case of Adidas, the suppliers situated in countries with a high degree of working poor are mainly Cambodia and India. Adidas is not making any hard commitments on ensuring fair living wages, and the reporting used sentences like, "Our aspiration is that workers earn enough for their basic needs." They also say things like, "We oblige employers to pay compensation that is legally required or has been freely negotiated." Therefore, we don't know whether the workers are getting fairly compensated in the Adidas supply chain. Adidas has done a pretty good job of being transparent about their supply chain. But after that, things start to get a bit wonky. The thing is that there are quite a few steps left to be taken, and the most important steps are still ahead of the company. So I wouldn't be able to say that on a people basis that Adidas has reached full sustainability yet. There's still quite a way to go there. Now we're getting to the third P, planet. And this is where it gets real interesting, because with planet, Adidas is having a straight connection back to their core product and their value proposition. So let's have a look at this. Adidas is mainly active within two areas, shoes and apparel. And in both areas, planetary sustainability is a problem. On average, we buy and consume about 30 pounds of textiles every year, more than 17 pounds of which go straight into the garbage. So from our yearly consumption, more than half goes straight to landfill or to district heating, and that is not sustainable. We need to get better at making circular models the norm. Today, it's not a circular model, but a linear model that is the norm. And basically it works in 4 simple steps. A company uses virgin raw materials and manufactures a product. That product is then sold to a consumer, which in turn uses it until it breaks or until the consumer no longer wants it, at which point it gets thrown away and goes into landfill or district heating. A circular model means that the waste from the linear model becomes the raw material that goes into manufacturing of new products. The linear model has now become a circle where no new raw materials needs to be added into the value creation process. Adidas has really taken inspiration from this and created 3 model lines: Prime Blue, Prime Green, and Futurecraft Loop. Prime Blue is a line that is created using at least 40% recycled materials and parts of those coming from ocean plastics. So when you're buying something from the Prime Blue line, you're effectively helping to clean the oceans of plastics. It's a pretty cool value prop if you're asking me. The Prime Blue line is also getting scaled fast. The first year Adidas made sneakers out of ocean plastic was in 2017, when they made 1 million shoes in that first year alone in total. In 2018, they quintupled output to 5 million shoes. In 2019, they doubled to 11 million shoes. And in 2020, Adidas is forecasting another big production jump to 15 to 20 million pairs of shoes. The Prime Green line is a line of functional materials made using no new polyester. As with Prime Blue, this line is expanding fast, and the goal is for Adidas to use 50% recycled polyester of the total production volume by the end of 2020, and by 2024, all shoes and all clothing will be manufactured using only recycled polyester. One problem with recycled materials in general, but actually recycled clothing in particular, is that the waste is really hard to manage. And I'm gonna prove that. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to take off your shirt. I'm not gonna look, I promise. So I'm gonna do the same here and take off my Adidas sweatshirt. And when I look at the materials, what this is made of, it actually says that this is 70% cotton and 30% polyester. And that's a problem, because how do you separate these 2 materials? It is virtually impossible, and when it's done, it is not done at scale. Adidas is tackling this very problem with their Futurecraft Loop line. It's a line of footwear designed to be recycled. And the secret to the recyclability is that it is designed with just one single material: thermoplastic polyurethane, or TPU for short. In early 2019, Adidas released their Gen 1 Futurecraft Loop running shoe, which went out to beta testers that tested the shoe in real-life conditions. They then had to return the shoe so Adidas could learn how the material reacted, and then Adidas could make a Generation 2 running shoe of the shoes collected. At the end of 2019, Gen 2 was released for further internal testing, and the goal of the Futurecraft Loop line is for it to hit the shops in the first half of 2021. With a Futurecraft Loop model of designing for sustainability, Adidas has taken a significant step into the future and a circular business model. There's still some kinks to be worked out, such as there was quite a lot of virgin TPU that was needed for the Generation 2 shoe. It wasn't just done with complete recycled materials. But all the fundamental building blocks of a circular business model have been assembled in the Futurecraft Loop project by Adidas. I think it's pretty damn hard to give any company a thumbs up when it comes to planetary sustainability, but Adidas has done a really good job here. I'm really impressed. So, well, at least it's a half thumbs up. I think most of us have a relationship with Adidas. Either we've worn their clothes or their shoes over the years, some timeless classics, and other choices might have been a little more questionable. I mean, the company's been around since the 1940s. They're probably going to be around for quite a long time still, because they're doing a pretty good job in all the 3 Ps. I mean, they're doing good with profits, they're doing good with planetary sustainability, and they're doing fairly good when it comes to people's sustainability. So overall, I'm pretty impressed by the work that Adidas is doing. So that's it, folks. Is there anything you'd like to add? Anything you think that I forgot or something I should have pointed out? Let me know in the comments below. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. It's really much appreciated for a new channel like mine. I hope you like the content, and I'll catch you the next time.